you start to get the feeling things begin to buzz. There'll be days when nothing's going right for you. Don't despair, we'll be there. Thrill us with your magic the way you do. We'll come through, promise you. So go for it. Go for it.
On a never-to-be-forgotten occasion, the seemingly impossible dream came true. For here was Hibernian, the team that wouldn't die, celebrating a famous victory and proudly carrying the Skull Cup home in triumph to Easter Road. This great, great club, which had hovered on the very brink of extinction, was back in business. Yes, Hibs had battled against overwhelming odds and won. How that joyous army in green and white celebrated on a day that Edinburgh will long remember. The sheer scale of those celebrations was mind-boggling, as tens of thousands of delighted Hibees took to the streets. It seemed as if the entire population of Scotland was present to witness the return of the conquering heroes. This was indeed the party to end all parties, with the revelries stretching long, long into the wee small hours. When they awoke next morning, it probably came as no surprise to the good citizens of Edinburgh to discover that even Sherlock Holmes had been caught up in the euphoria and had joined in those celebrations. What, I wonder, would Edinburgh-born Arthur Conan Doyle, creator of the famous detective, have made of it all? It would certainly have stretched even the investigative skills of Mr. Holmes to deduce from this 1991-92 pre-season team group just what lay ahead of Hibernian. Weeks before the photograph was taken, the liquidators had been hammering on the door of Easter Road, and it looked as if a tremendous year-long battle to save the Hibs could still have ended in disaster. But then, thankfully, Tom Farmer C.B.E. took control of the situation. Tom Farmer, a man whose marvellous community spirit and generosity finally saved the club. He bought the whole share capital from the receivers and has since given supporters who had bought shares under the former regime the opportunity to receive an equal number of shares in the new Hibernian. These shares have, in reality, been gifted to genuine Hibs supporters by Tom Farmer. Yes, mercifully the club was saved, but bitter lessons had been learned. Stemming from the hands-off Hibs campaign came a new sense of togetherness, a determination that this great Hibernian family would, never again, be subjected to such torment. Kenny McLean, now happily a club director, was a key figure in the battle for Hibernian's life. At the height of the Hands Off Hibs campaign, he said, "Hibernian will never die. This old club will rise again like a great phoenix from the ashes." Kenny could never have imagined how quickly and how dramatically his prediction would become reality. After a poor season during which the threat of extinction was ever present, Hibs kicked off the 1991-92 campaign in confident mood. The spectre of liquidation had vanished, those storm clouds were dispersed, and unknown to anyone, the silver lining was just around the corner. A marvellous start to the league campaign went hand in hand with Skol Cup success. Stirling Albion were beaten 3-0 at McDermott Park. Kilmarnock were defeated 3-2 at Rugby Park. And in the quarter-finals, Hibs were back in Ayrshire, recording a 2-0 victory over Ayr United. Drawn to play Skol Cup specialist Rangers in the semi-finals, few out with Easter Road believed that Hibs could topple the Glasgow Giants. On reaching Hampden, the door of the team bus wouldn't open. Alec Miller must have wondered if it was going to be one of those nights. Having escaped from that bus, Hibs took the field, knowing that a supreme effort was the order of the day if they were to reach the final.
Right, it might reach him, and when it did, he couldn't make clean enough contact as Gorham came off his line, and Rangers really looked as though they were still settling to this late change in their back line without Richard Gough tonight. Here's Durant, might hit it. I do sense that the first goal is crucial. If Hibs were to get it, they would really have got stronger self-belief, but Nisbet tries to chalk it up for Rangers. Stevens. Taken well by Johnston. There's an excellent forward run from midfield by McCall. Halstra cutting in. Hates it the near post, and the ball passes outside it. Rangers claim for a corner, but the decision is a goal kick.
Well, this is a smashing through ball here from Nigel Spackman. Picks out McCall. McCall knocks it out to Houstra. In the areas that we mentioned, we'd like to see Houstra getting into the game. Knocks it across, and well, just slipped past the post. Close thing there.
The cross, looking at that again, Gordon, seeing totally the thought in Houstra's mind. One wondered whether he might have just had a fire-at goal.
Well, I think he maybe carried the ball just a little bit too far there.
Here he is again.
And his angle wasn't good. He's on the ball here again.
Oh, and Burridge has patted it down! And Johnston nearly pounced on a most uncharacteristic error. But what a catastrophe that would have been.
Well, this is incredible stuff. Hoyster slings a ball here right to the back post. He seems to have it. And I think he tries to head it clear. I think it was Graham Mitchell that came to his rescue.
It's a corner when it should have been a catch. Halstra. Now Spackman. Out come Hibs. Rangers still have a lot of players forward. Nisbet. Well, it was an inventive try. In fact, it wouldn't have counted. Burridge was back on his line. Nisbet obviously trying to catch him off his line, but there was an offside flag up in any case. The referee has let the game go on because the ball safely in Burridge's hands. That time, it was far from that a few seconds earlier. It's McGraw who's chasing, and Gorham gets a fist to it, only as far as Weir. What will Weir do here? And Wright! It's a goal for Hibs! It's Keith Wright who scored it! with 28 minutes gone, and Hibs, who were panicking a minute or two ago when Burridge fumbled on his own goal line, have broken upfield and scored first in the Skull Cup semi-final.
Well, there's a misunderstanding here in the Rangers back four. Andy Gorham comes out, never quite gets a connection with the punch that he hopes, and Mickey Weir takes his time and picks out Keith Wright, and 1-0 to Hibs.
Gorham got to it, but the direction was just what Hibs wanted, and Weir looked up and saw where Wright was, and it needed contact here. A cool head, that was what Wright applied. Now Weir. It's over Wright. McGraw might line it up. Opted instead for the cross. Oh, Weir. It's still Mickey Weir. Is this two? Gorham outwitted Weir when Rangers were about to shoot themselves in the foot again.
Well, this is great attacking play. Matt McGraw swings over a ball here. I think it's Ian Durant that never quite gets it away. It falls back into Mickey Weir's path, and Andy Gorham pulls off a terrific save.
I wonder what's going through Andy Gorham's mind. He had his dream transfer to Rangers. He loved his time at Hibs, but he wanted to step up. But here, his team being embarrassed. Oh, and nearly further embarrassment. Gorham's there. And he just knocked it away at the last from right again.
Well, I think this is the first mistake I've seen Gary Stevens make this season. I'm not sure whether he thought of leaving it, stuck his foot up, and Andy Gorham had to be very athletic indeed to palm that one away.
Haitley now trying to get away from McIntyre, and he isolated Hunter then. Johnson has the shot! Oh, it's in front of the post! McCoist was there for the rebound, and Burridge has recovered somehow. Astonishing!
Oh my goodness, this is incredible stuff. A magnificent shot here from Mo Johnston. I think he's done everything right. Looks up, left foot shot, crashes off the post. John Burridge quickly on his feet, Ali McCoist follows it in, and John Burridge handles it cleanly. I think Hibs will be thinking this is their night.
Here's Evans. Hamilton in the middle. And Evans! Oh. Well, he is going to let us know he's around. Aimed towards Haitley, and it's found him. McCall for McCoist for McCall. So nearly for Rangers, and McCall then in sheer frustration. Mitchell. Evans again. Oh, and what's more? Gorham acrobatically. 3 minutes to go. And it's right again, and Gorham's just held on to it. Otherwise Evans would have knocked the final nail in the Rangers' coffin.
Well, for all the Rangers' press in the second half, it's Andy Gorham that's had to make the best save. He's pulled off 2 or 3 very good saves in this second half, while John Burridge hasn't really been troubled.
The greatest night in Alec Miller's management. Against his old club. Stevens, is that obstruction? It could have been called that way, it hasn't been. Rangers still have to get the ball a long way forward. The 90 minutes are up on my watch. And it's over! The Skull Cup has been full of surprises, but here at Hampden Park, the biggest sensation of them all, Rangers are out. And Hibernian, who've only won this competition once, are through to the final. The manager is in ecstasy. The goal scored back in the 28th minute by Keith Wright, and Alec Miller goes to Andy Gorham in a lovely show of sportsmanship there. There's Gordon Hunter, who had a fantastic game. at the back along with Tommy McIntyre. Hibs, who've recovered from a calamitous time last season. 12 games unbeaten now, and this the most prized scalp of all.
That semi-final victory confirmed the rebirth of Hibernian and how the Hibees family celebrated. Those dark days belonged to yesterday because the club was now in the most caring of hands. Hibs kids of all ages could smile again. The nightmare was over, and Hibernian Football Club epitomised, once again, the very stuff that dreams are made of. But could that most elusive dream come true? Would Hibs shatter the hopes of those great cup fighters Dunfermline Athletic and lift the Skol Cup? The legions in green and white which flocked to Hampden certainly thought so. Unbelievably, here was their team, the team that almost died, within touching distance of a miracle. Well, would Alec Miller's lucky white heather do the trick for Hibs in the Skol Cup final? The manager and his backroom team had done all that they possibly could, and it was now up to the players. Lined up in the Hampden pitch are the men who wore the green and white of Hibernian in this historic match. The captain and assistant manager, Murdo MacLeod, John Burridge, Willie Miller, Pat McGinley, Graham Mitchell, Mickey Weir, Keith Wright, Tommy McIntyre, Gareth Evans, Brian Hamilton, Gordon Hunter, and substitutes Neil Orr and Dave Beaumont. Alec Miller and his Hibs players may not have paid the Hampden Pipers on that October Sunday in 1991, but after the interval, they certainly called the tune.
No substitutions at half-time. Hibs attacking the goal to the right in the second half. 3 weeks ago they beat Dunfermline 3-0. And it's been a very different scenario here, and I think deep down even Hibs expected that, but Wright getting across in to try to assert Hibs' right to win the Skol Cup early in the second half.
It's a good ball in near post here, but what good defending from Norrie McCarthy.
Dunfermline will remember they conceded 2 goals to Hibs in Edinburgh from corners. Again, it's the willingness of Gareth Evans to shoot. Here's Weir again, and it's a penalty. Sharp on Weir, a penalty for Hibs. The warning signs were out.
Well, they played a little 1-2 about a minute ago. Look at the arms there. Really sharp cross round them, then the little push. It's a complete missed kick from Mickey Weir that actually sends him down. But I certainly think there was enough contact there from the referee's position to suggest a penalty was the right decision.
Now, the ball is in the hands of Tommy McIntyre. Andy Rhodes, whose ability at stopping penalties has got Dunfermline this far, but McIntyre completely outwits him, and Hibs are in front. 4 minutes into the second half. It has been a rampant 4 minutes for Alec Miller's men too, and they crowned it by taking the lead.
I thought that Alec Miller would tell his team to up the tempo, and they certainly have done, haven't they, Martin? They've been at Dunfermline straight from the off, putting them back under pressure, and when you want a cool head in a cup final, Tommy McIntyre shows what it's all about. Great composure there.
McIntyre's right in there, and Rhodes was struggling. Where did he get the shot in? But not towards goal. Andy Rhodes found Tommy McIntyre a difficult opponent again.
Yeah, he certainly does. He doesn't quite get the punch he would like here. Brave goalkeeping, comes in amongst a crowd of players, but doesn't quite get it away. But little Mickey Weir's very alive to it, isn't he? Takes a touch and just screws it wide of the post.
McWilliams. Here's Leach trying to get into the game, very difficult. And his team is struggling to get possession in midfield, and they're giving it away in that department as McWilliams did then. Weir. Hibs will feel that a second goal can seal it now. And Rhodes just getting a strong enough arm to it to knock the ball away from those who are following in. And Rhodes again.
Well, Raymond Sharp really is having a torrid time. When little Mickey Weir goes at him with pace, look at that, gets the 1-2, and that's the third time he's left him for dead in that situation.
Murdo McLeod has won cups with Celtic, in Germany with Borussia Dortmund. He hopes here with Hibs, but Billy Davis has a say now, and that's John Burridge at his best. With very little to do, but still the most agile shot stopper.
Oh yeah, he's one of the best goalkeepers you'll ever see on your line. And I think this is possibly the first shot he's had to save, and that one is definitely sneaking in bottom corner.
And it's McIntyre's goal that is the difference between the two sides, coming early in the second half from the penalty spot. And Mickey Weir went down. And there's no offside here. It's Keith Wright. And that, for Hibs, could well mean the Skull Cup. Alec Miller believes that. And Dunfermline are dumbstruck.
Well, they've threatened so often to cut their own throats this game, haven't they, Dunfermline? Taking chances at the back. And Eddie Cunnington, who's only barely on the park, gets caught in possession. Mickey Weir rolls in Keith Wright. And I never for a minute thought this man would miss Martin. He's absolutely excellent when he goes through one-on-ones. Here it is. Is it offside? It's very close, but no, it's not. Davy Moyes comes out, tries to catch him. Keith Wright says no, Skull Cup's ours.
Here's Hamilton. Oh! It hit the post and bounced back clean out of the penalty area. A great try from Brian Hamilton, and Hibs might still collect a third goal. McGinley!
Well, they're all desperate to get their name on the score sheet now. You can sense that the Hibs players believe it's all over. They're all desperate to score in a cup final. And what a shot this is to put the icing on the cake for them. Beats Andy Rhodes, all ends up that Brian Hamilton shot. Look at the power he puts in it. It's a magnificent strike. And what a way that would have been for Hibs to finish it off.
And Dunfermline finishing on the attack. Cosma takes it, and Burridge comes a long, long way. McWilliams. Hibs have won the Skull Cup. The 1991 final has gone to form after a topsy-turvy tournament. What an achievement by Alec Miller and his players. Tommy McIntyre's penalty early in the second half really set them on their way, and after that there were some anxious moments, and then Keith Wright, it really has been his tournament. He has scored in every round, and his moment of glory made absolutely sure for Hibs. That's a nice touch, Alec Miller and Davy Moyes.
always amazes me, Martin, when a manager's put as much into it as that he never gets up there either.
Well, Hibs couldn't have envisaged this last year. They could have gone out of existence, but they are back in business in some style. There are 2 trophies to collect. That's the League Cup alongside the Skull Cup, and the silverware now glittering in the Hibs trophy cabinet when they get it back to Easter Road. Tommy McIntyre, whose calm penalty, and Keith Wright, the other goal scorer, and John Burridge has another souvenir to go with the English League Cup win with Aston Villa, and that was 14 years ago now. Mickey Weir, the man of the match. Neil Orr, the substitute, a good club man who didn't get on, and David Beaumont likewise.
With the echoes of that Hampden victory still ringing in the ears, Edinburgh awaited the return of her triumphant army. Scotland's capital had seen many breathtaking historical events, but none more emotional than the cavalcade of colour this great city witnessed when those Hibees brought the Skull Cup home in triumph. It was, for sure, a dream come true on a night when Hibernian supporters realised just how much this lovely old club, steeped in tradition, meant to each and every one of them. Many a tear was rubbed from disbelieving eyes that night, for here, amid amazing scenes, was the team that wouldn't die, victoriously heading home to that dear old stadium, nestling in the shadow of Arthur's Seat.
Easter Road's a place to be, heaven on earth for you and me. Fathers and sons and granddads too, all who stood here cheering. We'll be with you, young and old. loud for you. Be your fans and proud of.
Events of the summer of 1990 and the very existence of the Hibernian Football Club was threatened. But Hibs supporters fought and won what amounted to the greatest victory in the history of a famous club. Hibernian will never die, not when their fans are counted among the finest and most loyal on earth.
The sheer joy of that 1991 Skull Cup victory rekindled memories, happy memories, of the last time a major trophy came back to Auld Reekie. 19 years earlier, Hibs had put paid to a 70-year cup hoodoo by defeating Celtic 2-1 in the League Cup final. Yes, on a dull December Saturday back in 1972, goals from Pat Stanton and Jimmy O'Rourke guaranteed Turnbull's Tornadoes a place of honour in the Hibernian Hall of Fame.
O'Rourke leaves it to Edwards. Edwards chips it forward. Chance for Stanton. It's a goal! Stanton scores! Picked up by Stanton. Stanton out to Edwards. Never stands still for a second. Edwards back to Stanton. Beautiful ball. O'Rourke's clear. Stanton lofting it across. O'Rourke. What a goal! What a goal! Magnificent goal by Jim O'Rourke. He's away behind the goal.
proudly displaying the league and Drybrough Cups, this 70s Hibs squad was certainly star-studded. But the biggest star of them all, in sheer physical terms that is, was Tony the Hulk Higgins. A fine player and one of football's most likeable and colourful personalities, Higgins is now Secretary of the Scottish Professional Footballers Association. During his playing days, Tony was Hibernian's answer to Tommy Cooper or Groucho Marx. Now, tongue-in-cheek, the big fella is back in his old stomping ground and, typically, bringing with him a touch of comic relief to the Easter Road dressing room.
Keith Wright, this is your life. Now, Keith, I was speaking to the rest of the players there. You're obviously the most expensive signing that Hibs have ever had, and you're the highest paid player in the club's history. How do you feel about it? How do you feel about that?
See Murdo's payslip?
Murdo, I know. Well, Murdo, he's got a wee bank
Apart from
account.
Murdo, aye.
Yeah. So this £2,000 a week, you're quite happy playing for Hibs?
No, really, that was one of the stumbling blocks when I signed.
Was it? Was not enough?
It was like for 2.5.
2.5. Oh, really? And of course, that you are a Hibs supporter, aren't you?
When they were in a good team, I was a Hibs supporter.
And how does it feel playing for the club that you obviously supported as a kid for £2,000 a week?
I was quite happy to play for £2,000 a week. I set up for that.
And what were your feelings about the cup final?
That was brilliant. Good day. Enjoyed it.
And was it a penalty?
We might have made a meal out, but we weren't complaining.
What do you think of the future prospects of the club now that Murdo McLeod's now a director?
Once we get a decent midfield, I think we'll do something next year.
All right. Would you like to name names, please?
No, really not. Pat's right behind me there.
What do you think about the social life in Edinburgh then? I mean, the boys have told me you're a bit of a sex symbol.
No. I tend to go out with Gordon Hunter there. One or two of the birds that you get a couple of pubs with big jeeps in that, you're guaranteed to get the birds coming up to you, you know. So stick by your side and you'll do alright.
Of course, you're not interested in that type of thing.
No, really not.
Pat McGinley at your back. You've replaced Alec Edwards as the great right winger at Hibernian Football Club. How does it feel to play in that revered spot?
Alec was not a bad player.
He wasn't there.
I'm a bad player.
Aye.
No, I just play away to
And you both enjoy a bevy, yeah.
I like FIFA.
No, was
That's
it?
me and the other boys that like that, Ken.
Yeah.
Terrible team for the baby.
it?
Oh,
Do you want to name names?
no, I better not. The manager's just round the corner.
Oh, he think as well, does he?
Oh,
Right, Budgie, I'm speaking to you beside these scales. That was the things that terrified me when I was a player here. Looks at. Anyway, they say that Geordies are Scotsmen.
I've got it in the breed. Taking me with pants down.
You need to come off your bench more often. Now, the thing is, they say that Geordies are Scotsmen with their brains not.
Well,
You want to answer that question before I finish it?
I didn't get it. I was concentrating on what next shot coming in.
No, I've been told this. I've been told this.
I'm not a Geordie, no. I'm not a Geordie.
You're not George?
No, I'm not a Geordie.
You're not Geordie?
No.
No, I've got the wrong guy.
No, I'm
You're
from
the
Workington.
You're the goalkeeper.
I live in Newcastle.
You live in Newcastle?
Yeah.
All right, from Workington.
Bob Danvers Walker.
Is that the same as a Geordie?
I'll open the box.
10 to 1 odd. Now, you had a great career in English football, according to the manager.
Yeah,
yes.
I wouldn't say
And
that.
how did you feel about coming up to Scotland to play out your last couple of years?
Well, I've been
Murdo
playing out
said
in the
that as
last
well.
couple of years, you know.
Well, Murdo
It's my
said
last couple of years. No, I really wanted to come up and say I've had 23 years in English football and I've enjoyed myself, and it was a fresh challenge to me. To be perfectly honest, I'm really loving every minute of it up here because at least I try and play football.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
And you've got a great affinity with the Hibs supporters.
Yeah.
Was that customary throughout your career with the clubs you played for?
Everywhere that I think they enjoy a tryer, and you know they know I'm trying, and they can forgive a mistake, but as long as you're trying.
He said 23 years he's played down in England. The only reason he came up here was because he knew he was playing behind me.
That's correct.
Right. The reputation of Gordon Hunter
Right.
goes far afield then.
And McIntyre.
McIntyre, yes.
Hunter and McIntyre thought I've got to have a crack behind them too.
Well, one or two of the boys have suggested you might have a problem with referees, is that correct?
Oh, I'm in love with the referees, I love them. The guys are good to me.
Oh, the referees?
I've no problem with them.
And you, Gareth, how do you understand these Scottish accents?
What's that?
How do you understand these Scottish accents?
Just about. Just about.
Just about? Yeah, do you want to elaborate on that?
Not really, no. I'm just happy to be sitting beside Willie because he's making me quite good looking sitting there.
The boys give you a bit of stick about your looks, Willie, do they?
Just to see me on a Saturday night with the clubs up there.
It must be very difficult dealing with this group of professionals who are so intellectually inspired at the same time.
Well,
good professionals.
Well, now you know they're all university graduates. They're all very well educated. It's what we've to work with week in, week out. The punters know now what they're like. Especially Willie there, he's a wee bit upset now about the looks.
Oh, right.
He's away. You'll know, next 3 or 4 games he'll not play well. He's actually in a downer.
Can I ask But I mean, you're following obviously in building the great traditions of Hibs captains. There was Pat Stanton, of course. There was me for about 3 games. So it's obviously quite an honour for you.
Okay, it's a great honour, especially the bunch of boys we've got. It's good to work with them. No, all joking aside, they've been a very good bunch this season. Last year as well, when the chips were down, they all still battled away, week in, week out, and they've got the reward this year. And I think they're a credit to the club.
Well, Alec, having interviewed your players down the stair, you've certainly got a happy bunch of players down there. It must be great that your endeavours now are paying off at this club.
Yes, it is. The players, as you say, Tony, are very happy. They're working hard. They've had a bit of success with the Skull Cup, and they hope to continue that for the rest of the season.
And how do you feel that the Skull Cup victory, I mean, it's proved that this club now are winners again. How do you think what impression that will make on the club over the next few years?
Well, I feel it's very important for a younger player to realise success, and a few of them are young and they've realised the success early in their careers. And I feel that they want to be winners and they want to go on and win something else. The important factor is that we have some experienced players at the club who have led the youngsters by example, and it augurs well for the future.
And obviously looking at the current Hibs playing staff, I mean, you've bought 1 or 2 players who have been a great asset to the club. Also, but you lay a firm stress on this youth policy, don't you?
Yes, because I feel that's the lifeblood of the club. We've got a lot of good youngsters, some under 21 caps, some even younger than that, and they will start challenging senior members within the squad for their places.
And also, probably the most important element in football, the football fan themselves, and the Hibs supporters now have taken to you. It's been a bit of a turnaround, hasn't it?
Yes, it has. I feel that the fans want success, first and foremost, and I feel they get caught up in it, maybe a couple of years back with the way the club was going. We chose an avenue to go down and it was a wrong avenue, and they're not interested in what's happening off the park. They want to see it on the park, and I feel that the club was in turmoil, but we've come out of that and we're a stronger club for it.
So what's your message to those Hibs supporters for the next few years?
Well, keep supporting the team, because first and foremost, the team that play on the park need their support. We as a club need their support. And I'm sure that if they give of their best on the terraces, then we will try and do our utmost off the park and on the field of play to make sure that it's a Hibernian team worth watching and they can be proud of.
For Alec Miller, the rags to riches story of Hibernian was a personal triumph. He had confronted his many critics and proved them wrong. How richly Alec deserved the chance to enjoy the fruits of victory. Hopefully, in years to come, these kids will have many opportunities to celebrate Hibernian triumphs. Certainly these wide-eyed youngsters will never forget the day they visited Easter Road to see the trophies and to meet their heroes.
Glory, glory to the Hibees. Glory, glory to the Hibees. Glory, glory to the Hibees. As the Hibs go marching on.
Get away with children, have you? I'm nip. This is a youth policy.
There is absolutely no doubting which Hibs player this little lass adores. To 1-year-old Megan McGinley, her big daddy Pat is the hero in every match she plays.
Douglas Cromb, you're now the chairman of Hibernian Football Club. It must be a great honour for you to oversee this club, being a Hibs supporter.
Well, it is indeed, Tony. It must be every Hibernian supporter's ambition to become chairman of his club. It's a great honour indeed.
Now, obviously, that when you come into the clubs were in the doldrums, and you showed personally, and the board did, faith in Alec Miller. You must be glad now it's paying dividends.
Oh, I never had any doubts that Alec Miller was the man for the job. Alec never had anything to prove to me, and as you said, we've been proved right.
One of the other great schemes that I've noticed here in my times when I come back here is the great sort of family enthusiasm this club generates.
That's also true. I would say that we worked quite hard on that, but having said that, there was always a family spirit here. The spirit in the club at the moment is very, very high. We encourage children, school children come on regular visits. The players all bring their families to the club, and there is a great family spirit within Hibernian.
And also on the future, Dougie, you must obviously be setting yourselves objectives. How far do you think this club can go in potential terms?
I think we can go all the way. On the playing side, we have a tremendous squad of young players. We've been in the BP Cup final twice, hoping to get more than the final, to go all the way this year. We depend very much on the youths here. We cannot go into the market on a regular basis and buy players at £500,000 or more. So that Hibernian is very much dependent upon the manager and his youth policy.
Dougie Cromb and his Hibernian family can indeed face the years which lie ahead with confidence, because the team that wouldn't die will never die. Every family has its ups and its downs, but throwing in the towel would never find a place in any Hibee phrasebook. Whatever the future may hold, fans of this unique club will stand firm in Hibernian's corner. Yes, united they stand, those wonderful supporters and the greatest football club on earth. Side by side they can achieve what were once seemingly impossible goals.